Imagine a tiny beetle, no bigger than your thumb, worshipped by one of the greatest civilizations in history. To the ancient Egyptians, this insect wasn't just a creature, it was a symbol of life, death, and even the rising sun itself. But why did they believe a beetle could roll the sun across the sky? Let's find out. The sacred beetle, the scarab. When most people think of ancient Egypt, they imagine pyramids, pharaohs, and mummies. But few realize that one of the most powerful symbols of their culture was an insect. The scarab beetle, also known as the dung beetle. These beetles roll balls of dung across the ground, bury them, and later feed on them. To us, that might sound ordinary, but to the Egyptians, this was an act of divine mystery. They saw the scarab's daily rolling of dung as a mirror of the sun's journey across the sky. The Egyptians called the scarab Khepri, meaning he who comes into being. Khepri was a god associated with rebirth, transformation, and the rising sun. Rolling the sun across the sky, the Egyptians believed that every morning, Khepri pushed the sun from the darkness of the underworld into the light of a new day. Just as the scarab rolls its ball of dung, the sun was thought to be rolled across the heavens. This wasn't just mythology, it was a way for the Egyptians to explain the cycles of nature. Night became day, death became life, and endings became new beginnings. To them, the scarab was proof that the universe had order, rhythm, and meaning. The beetle's struggle with its ball symbolized perseverance, creation, and the eternal movement of time. The scarab as a symbol of rebirth. Because of this powerful symbolism, scarabs were everywhere in Egypt. Archaeologists have found thousands of scarab amulets buried with mummies. These charms were believed to protect the soul in the afterlife, guiding it safely through the darkness, just as the sun rises again after night. Many scarabs were inscribed with prayers or magical spells. Pharaohs wore scarab seals as royal insignia, while ordinary Egyptians carried scarab amulets for protection, luck, and renewal. Even the way dung beetles bury their balls was tied to rebirth. Egyptians saw it as a symbol of life emerging from the earth, just as they believed humans were reborn in the afterlife. Khepri, the god of transformation in Egyptian religion, Khepri was often depicted as a man with a scarab beetle for a head. He represented constant change, the rising sun, and the cycle of existence. Unlike other gods who had temples, Khepri's power was seen in nature itself. Every sunrise was his temple. Every beetle rolling its ball was his priest. He reminded the Egyptians that life is never still, it is always moving, always renewing, always transforming. The legacy of the sun-rolling beetle. Even today, the scarab remains one of the most recognized symbols of ancient Egypt. Tourists still buy scarab jewelry, not realizing they are holding a piece of one of the oldest beliefs about life and eternity. What's fascinating is that modern science confirms part of the scarab's mystery. Studies have shown that dung beetles actually navigate using the light of the sun, moon, and even the Milky Way. In other words, the Egyptians may not have been entirely wrong in seeing a cosmic connection. The scarab beetle wasn't just an insect. To the Egyptians, it was the reminder that life is a cycle. Death is not the end, and every day is a chance to rise again with the sun. So the next time you see a tiny beetle rolling a ball, remember it once carried the weight of the sun in the imagination of one of history's greatest civilizations. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient Egypt's mysteries, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Decoding History and Science for more fascinating stories from history and science. And let me know in the comments, would you have worshipped a beetle if you lived in ancient Egypt?